Welcome to the Apex Social Podcast. I'm Susan Acey. I'm the founder of Apex Social, and we are supporting care professionals, host families, children with all abilities in the United States, Australia, and in Europe.
Welcome. I'm Maren, and I'm the host of the Apex Social Podcast. I'm excited to take you on a journey to learn more about Apex Social and our mission. So beautiful to have you here today. Welcome to the Apex Social Podcast. I'm Maren and I'm your host, and I have two powerful, energetic guests, two strong women as talents and guests here in our Apex Social Podcast. Welcome, Nancy, and welcome, Theresa.
Thanks for having us. Dankeschön.
Yeah, dankeschön. So I see you learned some German already. I'm going to explain your relationship quickly. So Nancy, you're a host mom, and Theresa, you're a care professional, and this is how you met each other. Can you tell us a little bit about you?
I'm Nancy. I am a mom of two young boys and a professional photographer. And my husband, Kyle, and I live with the boys and our dog, Einstein. We live on the island of St. John, which is in the U.S. Virgin Islands in the Caribbean.
Very nice.
Yeah, and I'm Theresa. I'm from Germany, obviously. And yeah, I'm a sports physical therapist and nutritionist, and I'm living with my host family now since May, since Mother's Day.
It was a gift to me. She showed up.
And yeah.
And here we are.
And here you are. This is very cool. I'm blessed to have you here. We're going to talk a little bit about relationship and host families and just about like your life. And obviously each family is so different, but you're a very unique family because you travel a lot. Nancy Borowick. Okay.
Perfect.
You said already you're a professional photographer. So you started traveling pretty early in your life. Can you tell me a little bit about like your lifestyle as a young family living in the Caribbean?
Yeah. So before living in the Caribbean, we were living in Brooklyn, New York. And we were there during the pandemic. And we had actually, before kids, my husband and I had lived briefly on the Pacific island of Guam. And when we lived there, we kind of fell in love with island life, but missed home, missed our family and our friends, and decided to go back to New York and have our son Levi. But partway through the pandemic, we were both working remote thinking, what are we doing? We wanted to take an adventure and try something different. And we found our way down here to U.S. territory. So it was pretty easy for us to move here. We didn't know anybody. But we packed up our winter coats and our snow boots and traded them in for tank tops and sandals and bathing suits. And honestly, we haven't looked back. It's been almost 2 years. And it's been we have a really beautiful quality of life, and we're super lucky to get to live down here and live this life. And even more lucky when we have Theresa in the mix, because our life has just been, it's two young kids are hard everywhere you go, and being able to parent, but also continue to work professionally as a photographer and wear all those hats was really important to me, and having Theresa around really makes that possible.
Beautiful. So that's very impressive. I'm happy that you matched. Theresa, how did you get interested in Nancy and her family when you were back in Germany on your laptop looking for all through all the families here in the portfolio, like what did you catch personal wise, like from the
It was also the
personality?
beginning of winter, and you're like,
Oh, I want to go somewhere warm.
like, come to the Caribbean with us.
So we first got in contact in January, and I was like, I really should hurry up. I want to leave in May, so I have to quit my job and all this stuff. So I wanted to have a family pretty soon to get all these things done and be safe. But I had some interviews with families, but I was like, I don't know whether this matches that much, because for me the most important thing was that the family is like a second family for myself. So that it's still a job, but also this, I want to feel to be like home and connected to the family, spend my free time with them and not just work for them. And so,
and we wanted that too.
Yeah, that was in both our letters, which we had on our profiles. And so when Kyle and Nancy finally asked me to match with them, I said, oh, I don't have to sleep about that. I made my decision already. I'm just waiting for you.
Yeah, we were like so nervous because we had like I thought, did we talk before Gus was born, or was it right after he was born?
It was right afterwards. Yeah,
okay.
We were in Brewster and like, yeah, the baby's just sleeping, so.
Oh yeah, we had like a 1-month-old.
Wow.
There was a lot going on. Yeah, but I do remember Kyle and I were like, it definitely felt like dating and we had never done anything like this before.
Yes, really it's like dating.
I was sitting there and like, okay, so we talked about this a lot, and we wanted to ask you whether you would love to join us in our little
family. Yeah. Yeah.
It was so cute.
It was really cute.
Amazing. That's so good. So why did you what was important for you as a family with like also getting care for your children?
We were looking for someone who, similar to what Theresa said, we were looking for someone who could sort of seamlessly fit into our family. We were looking for someone who, that we felt chemistry with. We were looking for someone who we were hoping to learn from and like just have this experience beyond this like working, with our kids, but someone that, we can hang around after hours and chat with and get to know and develop these kind of other types of relationships. It's funny. It feels weird being like, I'm her host mother.
Yeah.
Because she's a grown woman.
We're like friends, I would say.
Yeah. And just finding like we just felt a connection with her and felt like we could trust her with the boys and it was amazing because once she met the boys, it was like instant. There was like a bond, which felt good. Another thing is that living down here in the Caribbean, we don't have any family nearby. And having, Theresa around, it's sort of like having another family member as part of our pack, but like, someone else that the boys trust and love. I mean, sometimes I'm pretty sure Gus is like loves you more than me because my attention is very split between the two boys, and you guys do spend a lot of time together.
Oh yeah, we do, and I really love him.
So yeah.
Amazing. So, what do you think? And I'm pretty sure, like, we're gonna talk later about this. What do you think is like very important in the matching process, just from your experience? You said already like someone you can learn from, like obviously everyone has their own most importance, but like something you can advise other families and care professional in the matching period.
Well, I would say as the care professional in the situation, it's just really important to know your limits and to be honest.
So you know what you need to communicate what you know you can do.
I mean, I think we talked kind of about what life was like down here and
Yeah.
opportunities. So my husband and I really enjoy scuba diving, and
Mm-hmm.
Theresa was like, "Oh, like yeah, like this. If that's I'm interested too. I've never thought about this before." And now
Yeah.
she goes scuba diving more than I do. um,
Yeah. Well, you were honest too with living in the Caribbean is nice, but there are also some things you should think about, like the blackouts and the internet connection is not that great all the time.
and sometimes it could be a little isolating. It's sort
Yeah.
of we live in this beautiful tropical paradise, but it's not like a big city, so it's harder to meet people. You really have to be independent and put yourself out there. And I think we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that early on, that was my husband is much better at being like straightforward, where I'm like, like la la la, like rainbows and butterflies. And he's like, it's a good balance, but just really making sure that,
it's not just paradise. There are good and bad things, like always, wherever you go.
Yeah. You need to kind of like transporting a real life picture in the matching to the other person, right? To set up the expectations. Yeah. And then on Mother's Day.
Oh, so let us paint you a picture. I got in the car with my son Levi, and we took a car ferry over to St. Thomas, and we drove over to the airport to pick Theresa up. And my son and I had made this like welcome sign that said, "Welcome home, Theresa." And we brought it into the airport, promptly covering the entire airport floor with sparkles. Sparkles are no longer allowed here because we still find them like on the baby. And we waited, and actually there's a girl who came out right before Theresa who kind of looked a little similar, and we're like, oh my God, there she comes. And I was recording it, and it wasn't her. And then she arrived, and we were so excited. And I have this video of like her coming up. And actually, I think a few minutes while we were waiting for you to come, my older son Levi loves to dance. And there was music playing. And so first he was like breakdancing on the floor and just like being a wild man. And I was like, I wonder if Theresa's going to happen upon this situation. But it was really awesome.
Yeah, it was really nice and so sweet with the sign. And they were waiting for me. And you can see that on the video. It's just so, it was perfect.
We were really excited. And also one thing we were talking about that we did leading up to Theresa coming down to the Caribbean was we kind of became pen pals. Like we would exchange over WhatsApp. We were exchanging video messages as a way, not just for us to get to know her, but for my older son to become familiar with her, because we're about to have this person that he doesn't know come live in our home. And we really wanted to ease the transition. So we felt a little bit like we knew her already, which was really cool.
Yeah, we sent a few videos, and I mean, it was always so cute. He was dancing in those videos or just painting something.
I think we even sent you a video of him playing the keyboard because we knew that you played piano, and we're like, look, he plays piano too.
They keep saying we have a piano, and I always say, no, it's just a kid's keyboard. It's not a piano at all, but
Amazing. It's so cute. So you came here and you started being part of the family. Obviously, like also when you come to a new place, and I know Nancy, you just moved 2 years ago from New York. So you have to build up a new social circle. How did that go? And how did you, Nancy, support Theresa to figure out, okay, where can I go to? What can I do? And
so it's funny. I'm 38, and I was like, I don't know any like 22-year-old. I don't feel 38. I mean, I guess I don't feel 22 either. Oh, thank you. But I was like, I didn't know anyone directly to introduce her to other than my friends that I had made, and we took her around and showed her all of her favorite restaurants, her favorite beaches. And we had friends over, and because, again, she's a part of our family, and the community here is really, I think, warm and welcoming. The other thing that's interesting is because it's a kind of a vacation destination, there are months at a time when it's extremely busy, and there's a lot of people who come to work on the island, largely people in their 20s, and just like people that work at the restaurants,
on the hotels,
at the hotels, at the beach, on the boats and things like that. And there's even a lot of activities that now I don't even know about, but Theresa has learned about, because she's like more in the know than I am about things happening around island. But I'm trying to think. Yeah. So how did you kind of meet people?
Well, so I kind of just started because on my second weekend over here, we already left to go to upstate New York for a wedding.
We're like, hey, by the way, at the end of your second week, we're also going to get on a plane and travel to New York.
Yeah. And then we left again during the summer for almost 2 months. And so when I came back in September, it was like, okay, I kind of start from the beginning on again. But since then, I made a few friends, which I'm really close with. And one friend, actually, I got through a friend of Nancy, who introduced us to each other. And so she introduced me to other people. And so it's just all about going out and trying to not just sit at home and
being proactive,
which is hard at the beginning.
I feel like one of the first nights you went out, wasn't the bartender German?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
I was like, I met a German. I was like, what? There's like very few people who live here. It's a very small island.
But yeah, people keep saying, oh, Germany, I used to live there for a couple of years. And so it's all about going out and try to talk to people, be open-minded. And
and you met people at the gym too. And
yeah, exactly.
On hikes.
Yeah.
Just be open, and that's the best advice in that case, I think.
Great. You just had like your 6 months anniversary.
Yeah. We're going out to like a nice French restaurant, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ladies' night.
Very nice. Send me a picture.
Yeah.
You let's reflect a little bit on like the last 6 months, about like, I would like to hear one high, like something that maybe brought you closer together, and something you learned in living together, in like your whole situation. I know it's a very, very unique situation, and I'm just so interested about, and I'm going to tell our listeners right now, I was a care professional myself for 2 years, and I lived in 2 different families, both very beautiful and open, and both opened their arms and their hearts for me. And I'm very grateful, but I had 2 totally different experiences. And I don't think you can compare family life, your family life with other families. But what was something you think that brought you closer together?
Do you want to start, or should I start?
Why don't you start?
Okay. So for myself, pretty much in the beginning, first my host dad got sick after we went to a chicken wing contest. And he got sick afterwards. And so Nancy and I had to manage the kids.
Yeah, and like tag team.
Yeah, tag team. And then when he finally was feeling better again, I got sick. And I was really unsure. I mean, it was pretty much in the beginning of our time together, and I was without my family. And so I spent the whole time just in my bedroom, kind of sleeping. I was really feeling bad. And then sometimes Nancy and Levi, for example, knocked on the door and brought me something to eat and a little painting which Levi made with Theresa, I hope you feel better soon. And then one night I was thinking that I feel better finally and went to the fridge to get some water. And Nancy was asking, oh, look who showed up. How are you doing? And I said, I'm feeling better. And in the same moment, I realized that I'm definitely not feeling better.
She was standing there with her head leaning against the cabinet. And I was like, are you sure you're feeling better? Because you look terrible.
Yeah, and then I found myself back on the floor. I don't know what happened.
And I'm yelling to Kyle, like, Theresa is not okay. You need to come out here immediately and we need to figure something out. We need to take care of her. Like, something's not right and she really needs us. I think we've all been in a situation where, like, when you're not feeling well, I know for me, like, it makes me really miss home.
Totally. That week was a really homesick week. But yeah, finally Kyle was sitting next to me and asking me, do you know where you are? And I mean, at least I was able to answer in English. And then he helped me back to get into my room, and
we took care of her. And I was messaging with I have contact with various people in her life and her family, and was like, Theresa's not feeling well. Is there like anything that you know that like would make her feel better? You know, like what one would want when they're so far away from like their family. And it was a kind of at the beginning, so you were like, we were still kind of getting to know each other, and But
this was like the one moment or this whole week, kind of the highest point and the lowest point. So I was really not feeling good, but also it brought us so much closer together.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's amazing how when you're sick, I mean, you're so vulnerable and you have to kind of give in to what's happening and to have, nurturing. And like, I was about to say, like, to have nurturing people around is really helpful. And I say that because there have been many moments where, this happens when you have young children, where I've been sick and Theresa has like stepped in and like helped in ways far beyond the call of duty, like just as a good friend and a support network. Or for example, one night Gus wasn't feeling well and I picked him up to see what was going on, and he immediately just threw up all over me and I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was wet. I like didn't know how to handle the situation, and I just shouted to Theresa through the doors. I'm like, are you still awake? I need your help. And she came out and just like immediately took him and like just took care of it. And there's something really there's just something really comforting in knowing that you have someone in your life that like you totally trust, and especially with your children, that, when you're struggling, they just like step in. Or even like I had the scariest moment of my motherhood, I think, when I was changing a baby, and he like leapt off the changing table. This has never happened. And I was horrified, and he was fine in the end, but he was crying, and I was in absolute shock.
Of course. Yeah.
Like I just couldn't
react. You don't know what to do.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I was like, felt guilty. I felt terrible.
Yes.
I was like, all the things. It's making me kind of tear up now.
I'm sorry.
It was before bedtime, and the baby was crying, and Levi, my wonderful 4-year-old, was like, Mama, I want ice pop. Mama, I want to watch TV. I was like, I don't know how to handle anything right now. I just like needed to be alone. And so Theresa just like appeared and was like, Levi, let's like do this, and like let's try this activity, and then at some point when Levi was taken care of, maybe it was the next day, I was like changing Gus's diaper, and she came in. Or I was like, I need your help. I was just like, I was like in shock and like terrified and horrified and all those feelings. And just to have another person, I mean, like my husband is wonderful, but we have 2 kids. So it's like, we try to manage everything, but to have this extra person in your home and in your life to be like, you've got this, I've got this, I'm here for you, like, is really special.
Yes, it is. And you trust each other so much. So
yeah.
I have a question about trust. I thought a lot about trust when I worked with families and children. My host mom gave me the trust to care for her children. And I took it and I showed her that she can trust me, right? That doesn't mean that everything goes easy and flowy and there are no complications. I think it means that you have open communication and that you don't have to be afraid talking about problems and finding solutions together. This is like what I learned about trust as a care professional in a host family. What do you think? What was helpful for you as a mom to give someone else all the trust with your children?
Surprisingly, it wasn't all that difficult for me to feel like I could trust Theresa. I think because she just like seemed to know what she was doing, whether she did or not. She was just like confident. And I, as a mom, you're just, maybe not all moms are like this, but like, I just don't feel, I'm like, I always think I'm doing everything wrong. I'm like worried I'm going to mess them up. And she just seems very like, like calm and confident and like collected. And what's been nice is that like, I don't have, my mother and my father both passed away. And so I've never had like anyone kind of co-parent with me other than my husband. And so to have Theresa, who's like, she is new to the family. She doesn't have kids of her own, but she's one of 4, she grew up in it. She like knows how to like,
one of 5. Actually.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Yeah, I have many siblings.
Yes,
so
you do.
I know.
But you just like, it wasn't, like it was, we got to know each other pretty well and pretty quickly. And I think a big part of that came from, like it was her idea, like Mondays, to sit down at the end of the day and talk about the week, or Sundays or Mondays, talk about the week, and talk about if there was any, concerns or not problems, but like, things we could do differently. And
sharing thoughts. Yes.
Yeah. And like, I'd like to think that like, maybe I've learned how to be like a better roommate, and like, I try to be cleaner. It's really funny to have someone from the outside looking in, because like, you only know what you know. And my husband and I have been together for like 17 years. So like, we're used to whatever we do. But I think, I don't know, it's, or
and having me around to remind you to
remind us to not be such slobs. No, it's been great. It's been good. We've grown a lot and we feel very lucky.
Yeah, those weekly meetings are just so important. I mean, it's mostly about what I have to concern, but also just to, I mean, if there are kids around, it's always hard to have real conversation without someone bubbling inside, asking for an ice pop, for example.
Yeah, it's funny because one day, if you ever have children, you like are totally gonna have this down pat, because it's, as a new parent, you like have to learn how to navigate like 8 voices yelling at you, and like you've like totally got it down. That was a side note.
And so yeah, sometimes that's just really helpful to sit down when the kids are in bed and just have an adult conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to say, like the weekly meeting that helped me a lot too, and my house mom too, just to communicate, and maybe Theresa, you're so calm and confident because you're professional, like you went to school for a long time, you studied well, you have your knowledge. So I guess like this is also reflecting a lot on how you act with and around children. And I wanted to highlight what you both said. This time of having a conversation and talk and reflect and see, okay, what's the plan for the next couple of days? It's like really like a little team meeting And since the care professional is working with you, it's good to have team meetings in all teams. Doesn't matter in what relationships, it's important to have like reflection time. And I can see that this is also helping like building up trust, relationship, and all those stuff. Thanks for sharing. Theresa, do you have like a learning from your last 6 months besides the meetings?
Her English has become better than mine.
Actually, it's hard to think about that. But I mean, I learned a lot, to be honest. But so I would say I was definitely more the introvertized person, and now I'm way more confident. I'm way more open to new people. Also to just say here on Ireland, nobody's really judgmental, so it's pretty easy to be confident and just don't worry about too much. But also I definitely talk more open, mostly to you guys, to Kyle and Nancy, about whatever's going on in my head and how I feel. I mean, I still have to learn that to be better in that, but I guess it's getting better, and not to shut up myself when I'm not feeling well, just to say, okay, guys, I'm homesick. That's how it is.
It's because we're hanging out with Americans and we just love to share everything that we're feeling and all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a German thing, but I gather it's not.
It's definitely not. Yeah, that's basically what I learned.
Yes, that's amazing learning. So you learned a lot about yourself too.
Definitely. I totally grew. Yeah.
Nancy, what do you love most to be like a part of Apex Social and the program?
It's interesting when we came across Apex Social basically because a lot of the au pair agencies weren't interested in placing someone in the Caribbean because there isn't an abundance of care professionals or au pairs down here. And so we sort of stumbled upon Apex Social by accident. And I feel like it was this beautiful, happy accident because what we really wanted in a care professional, it was someone who was just that, was already a professional, like someone who was a bit more mature, maybe had a bit more life experience. Who
worked and lived
and like, but was excited and interested in learning new things and taking an adventure with us. Even I just remember having the phone call with you being like, one of the phone calls being like, just so you know, we love to travel, which traveling is so much fun. The actual journey of getting from place to place is like a hot mess, but
especially with kids.
With kids, specifically with kids. And so that's part of the journey. But I was like, I promise we will like get to cool places. Like in a week, we're flying to Japan. And like, we're going to have so many amazing experiences and make so many memories together, which is so special. And, I had friends who had au pairs join their families in different capacities. And I've definitely, I think we won the lottery, and I know that friends have said, they're like, you're so lucky you met Theresa. Like, this is like a match made in heaven. Awesome. Like, I am like, first try.
Yeah, you're definitely an amazing match, and I'm so happy that you can go on your journey together. Let's play a little game, and I'm going to ask you one last question, and you can answer at the same time the first thing that came to your mind. What advice would you give another person who wants to be in a relationship with a host family and a care professional? 3, 2, 1, now.
Hang out together.
Yeah, spend time together outside.
Yeah.
Lately, we worked on a puzzle, and it turns out unsurprisingly, we're both very competitive. And it's been really nice to spend time together.
Yeah, or we watched Golden Bachelor. We did movie nights. We go out for dinner.
Yeah. And just get that quality time together, because it impacts everything else.
And not
100%.
work.
Yeah. Because also when you're living in a space together, I mean, I would hate to feel like I was trapped in my room,
And I can totally remember my first couple weeks, like walking on my tippy toes and going to the fridge, but not taking too much. And yeah, just feeling, I don't know how to say that, but yeah, just getting into it. And I'm a stranger walking in your home. But now it's just like, okay, your fridge is my fridge. And
I go to the grocery store and I know exactly what she wants. And I mean, we also have multiple lists going on, but she'll pick stuff up too, or the tank will be low and she'll fill up the car. And it's it's nice. It's so nice having another person who's thinking we're just very in sync a lot.
Yeah, this is so funny. One of my house families said earlier, it's amazing then when you build up a relationship that the other person knows exactly what you think. So
it's kind of like a romantic relationship, but it's the same with this. It's the most important thing that you don't have to say everything and the other person still know what's going on. Or that I'm not feeling right, for example, when I got homesick, before I said something, they were like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, it was more like I cornered you in the kitchen and was like, "What's going on?"
Yes.
I know you.
You get to know each other. And this needs obviously time, but it's a journey. It's a journey. You're learning about each other, you're learning with each other, and this is how it goes. Yeah. It was beautiful having you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
If you got inspired by this episode, please share with your friends and community. Give us a 5-star so others can learn about it, and we look forward to hear your feedback.
Our goal is to empower families and children with special or without special needs. And we are excited to learn more about you and to hear your inspiring stories.